Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here at the Anantara Dubai Downtown Hotel in Dubai. And I'm here with David Garner, who's the Vice President of Commercial for Minor Hotels, the parent company for Middle East and Africa. And they've been tremendous development in this area for minor hotels, specifically for all of their brands, but Anantara, a lot of hotels, Avani, Tivoli, and NH Hotels us to come, and we're going to talk to David about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Now, David, first of all, great to be here. I stayed here last night. It's a beautiful property. It's fairly new for your brand, about less than a year old. And then you have a couple more we're going to talk about. But let's first of all talk how many properties overall for all of your brands do you have now in the Middle East and Africa?
We currently operate around about 25 properties here in the Middle East region. And then in Africa, we have an additional 8 properties, plus then we have about 15 lodges under our Eliwana brand as well.
Okay, so I run out of brands. You have so many different brands right now that it's difficult because you keep adding. But I mean, the top high end is the Anantara brand. But let's talk specifically about what you have here in the UAE. How many properties and what are the brands?
Sure, I'm happy to do that. I mean, as Minor Hotels, we have 8 core hotel brands, which we operate with Anantara being our premium brand. And then below that, we have brands such as Tivoli Hotels, Avani Hotels, Eliwana, which I just mentioned. We have the NH Collection, the NH Hotels, and the Now brands. So we have quite a diverse broad range of actual brands, which can be anything from your luxury, high-end 5-star resort, all the way down to your mid-market service apartment-based brands such as Oaks, which came out of Australia, which we acquired a number of years ago. But here in the Middle East, actually, we're quite well represented for a number of the actual brands. Within the Anantara, our first Anantara was actually in Abu Dhabi on His Highness's Sheikh Zayed's Legacy Island, which is Banyas Island, and we started there about 14 years ago. And then we expanded with our second property, which is one of our trophy assets, which is the Anantara Casa Al Sarab Desert Resort and Spa, which is located in the Liwa Desert, a very prominent hotel, annually in the Condé Nast leading properties, a virtuoso property. I mean, we're super proud of that property, and that's with our partner ADQ in Abu Dhabi. We then expanded more into the Dubai market when we opened in 10 years ago the Anantara Dubai The Palm Resort. And that property is such a key property for us because it's a real volume generator. Okay. And it was the first overwater villas in the area, and that combined with the beach villas and the natural lagoon product has proved to be probably one of our most successful operating models that we have. And then from that, we've expanded into the other brands opening. We have opened, we operate Oaks properties.
That's the apartment brand, right?
Yeah, apartments or hotels. Okay. So in Abu Dhabi, we have a Small Oaks property in the city. Here in Dubai, we have Oaks Liwa Heights, which is more of a residential, longer stay based brand product. But then we also have a 5-star Oaks full service hotel in Ibn Battuta Gate, which is the Oaks Ibn Battuta. Which we acquired from another operator a few years ago. And then we look at the brands such as Avani. Mm-hmm. We did a very successful launch of the Avani Palm Views, which is at the entrance to the Palm Jumeirah. And the last 2 years have been record-breaking years for them. Mm-hmm. That is a mixture of apartments, rooms, and we just have the right model there, and it hits the market at just the right time where the apartment market, obviously the last couple of years, has been in such high demand, especially here in the Dubai market as well. And
And then here also you've expanded with Anantara. You obviously this property, which is kind of an urban resort hotel, and then of course one I'm going to be visiting later, the Anantara World Island, which is the first one I understand is the first resort on one of these islands that was part of the world, right?
yeah, it's the Anantara brand is very interesting across the Middle East. Historically, the Anantara brand was always recognized as being a resort brand. But over the last number of years, it has really transformed itself to being an urban destination brand as well. We started that here in the Middle East with the Anantara Eastern Mangroves in Abu Dhabi. And then you expand that into the likes of the Anantara downtown, where we're sitting now with fantastic views of the Burj Khalifa in downtown Dubai. And we can really feel that the urban concept for the Anantara works very well because there is such a mixture between business and leisure these days. People use the term bleisure, and it's a real growth area for us. But then on the flip side, we're very proud of our original roots as well. And you take somewhere like the World Islands, which you'll visit later. That is the first resort to open on the World Islands here in Dubai. Right. So we're very, very proud to do that. So that's with our local partner called Seven Tides. And that property is very unique because you have to take private boats to be able to get there. Yeah. It's very exclusive. It's currently 70.
I think I have to go to the Anantara Palm Island and then get the boat to go to World City. Well, I'll find that out.
Yeah, you have to go to the Anantara Palm Resort and then you take a boat from the jetty there. It only takes 15 minutes, but it has magical views of the Dubai skyline.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to that. So, really, where does the future hold for Minor Hotels here? Because you have a really great brand mix. Obviously, I know a lot of the Anantaras. I actually was at the Anantara Maldives, one of the Maldives, the Kiava, which was an amazing property, one of my favorite in Maldives earlier last year, I should say. Now we're in 2023. But where is the growth potential for your different brands? What's going to be the focus?
Well, the focus is actually growth across the Middle East and Africa in a number of our actual brands. If you look at the Anantara brand, we have had a super successful 2022 with the openings that we've done, including the Plaza Hotel Doha by Anantara, which opened just before the FIFA World Cup, just in time. And that property is one of the highest spec, most luxurious properties I've seen, which will attract both the long stay, the banqueting, the weddings market, the government, and again, it's another urban destination for us as well. The growth that we're seeing over the next few months is actually introducing the NH Collection brand into the Middle East. We acquired the NH brand a few years ago.
I was thinking that's a Dutch brand. It's Spanish.
Yes,
I always forget NH is a Spanish brand, and you acquired it. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And so we're very, very excited to be opening a number of NH collections this year. We'll open on the 1st of February here in Dubai on the Palm, a 533 key NH collection property. And we have also opening in Doha, the NH Collection Oasis, with about 300 keys, and that'll open also towards the end of Q1 of this year. And then on top of that, if you look at other properties, we have we took over on Monday of this week a property here in Dubai, which is now called La Suites Dubai Hotel and Apartments, which will currently be under a white label under NH Collection, pending some property improvement plans, which will start very, very shortly. So we see a number of growth with the NH Collection brand. And the other brand growth that we have is we have in Bahrain, we have 2 properties which are in project stage with our partner there, and one of those is a Tivoli.
It was interesting when you told me that, because Tivoli I know and I've been to the Tivoli hotels in Portugal most of the just after you acquired it, and indeed one of the Tivolis you turned into an Anantara, but now I thought that was pretty much a European and Brazil brand, but you're telling me here Tivoli is now here in the Middle East, right?
Yeah, absolutely it is. So we'll open that's property in Bahrain, along with the Avani next door to it. They're only going to be small properties of 110 keys each, but those will actually that'll be our fourth Tivoli here in the Middle East, because we operate 3 already in the Doha market. In the Souk Wakra, the Souk Waqif, and the Al Najada properties.
Maybe it'd be good for our viewers. We got to about 110,000 U.S. travel advisors to kind of delineate these brands and what they are and what they can expect. So let's start from Anantara. What is the Anantara brand first?
Okay, for us, the Anantara brand is our signature brand, right? Where it is the original property brand for minor hotels. I mean, our chairman actually started the company back in 1967 from its actual roots, and we've come as far where we are now. And I'll tell you a little story first. Sure. So I joined Minor Hotels 12 years ago here in the Middle East. Okay. I joined from Emirates Airlines Group, a multinational company, and I joined Minor, and I was like, why join Minor? We just opened the second property here across the actual Middle East, which was the Anantara Qasr Al Sarab. And I was sold the dream of the growth of the company, the entrepreneurial spirit, and the ability for us to drive a whole culture within the industry. And that's why I've stayed, because it's so exciting, and we have the freedom to actually make change and drive. We're not constricted by large corporation policies. We're actually very dynamic in the way we work. The Anantara brand is the essence of it is obviously from Asia, from Thailand, and we talk about storytelling journey travelers, right? The Namjai. And the Anantara brand offers exceptional levels of service, a very bespoke experience for our actual guests. We believe in the customer touch points across the whole journey, from the reservation process through to their departure from the actual property. Because we want these guests to be telling people about their experiences, because we know that's the best way that we can spread the actual brand message. As we diversify the brand and the types of properties that we have, it's always a challenge to maintain that. And we need to keep the development of our people, the customer focus, the service quality, the service delivery at the highest level possible. The remaining brands have almost automatically sort of added to us and given us the actual benefits, because you look at something like NH, which is largely European, based out of Spain, Italy, Germany in particular, and also into Latin America. They are very much more city properties, very strong in the corporate markets. So it gives us almost a natural balance to where we are with the leisure business side of the Anantara brand, and it also fills a different type of traveller staying at our properties, different geos.
Mostly like for a 4-star for your urban hotels.
3, 4, 4-star deluxe, correct. But then you look at the Anantara brands with the acquisition and the change of the Boscolo hotels in Europe to the Anantara. So Anantara in Nice, Anantara in Budapest, Anantara in Amsterdam.
Budapest I've seen. It's a beautiful property.
Correct. So you can really see the actual transition of the Anantara brand into urban Europe as well. The Tivoli brand, which you know exceptionally well, having stayed in multiple properties there with us, that's a historic brand for, in particular out of Portugal and obviously in South America, and it suits certain properties of ours. So having multiple brands allows us, when we're talking to developers, asset owners, to be able to position our properties right for them and right for their property in the actual market. But we're not going to them with 30, 40 different brands, which is very confusing to the owners often. We're going with a very simple brand identification that suits their actual model.
Right. And then, of course, you have Avani brand is starting to expand here as well, which is more the next level down from an Anantara, right?
It's more of our upscale lifestyle brand. Right. And, we can see that working very well in a number of our properties. And then again, that can be urban and it can be leisure as well. And we see that here in Dubai. We have a Avani. We have 3 Avanis here, one in Deira, one in Ibad Matuta, and one at the entrance to the Palm Jumeirah. And each one is different, but it suits very well. And then we can combine that with the Avani resort experience that we have. For instance, in the Seychelles, we will be reopening actually the Avani Barberins later this year, because it's gone under a full closure and a full regeneration program, expansion of the actual property to 194 keys. And that is a very strong leisure product. But that's good for us because there's so many combinations that people do with multi-destination, twin destination stays, especially using hubs like Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Doha as feeder markets then on into the Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, and so on. That it works very well for us when we combine the different brands, and people have the opportunity to mix the brands also, but singular brands as well.
Okay. Yeah. So. For our travel advisors, what does the future hold for minor hotels here in the Middle East? I mean, right now you have how many properties, and what do you project in about 5 years?
Well, with it 25 at the moment, but we've already got multiple signings underway in Saudi Arabia, because obviously the KSA market is a high potential growth with some of the master development plans that the sovereign funds and the PIF are actually doing. And then those combined with properties, with two in Bahrain that we signed, other properties that we signed here in the UAE. We have Anantara Ras Al Khaimah, our first resort property in Ras Al Khaimah, opening in Q3 of this year.
Kind of the forgotten emirate, as we thought.
Yeah, but it has such high potential. I know. And the purpose of we're working with the Ras Al Khaimah properties there is they want to bring in a luxury brand into the destination of Ras Al Khaimah to give it a lift. So it is to establish it more as a direct competitor to some of the luxury products that you have elsewhere in the actual Emirates. So for us, I see there will be expansion across probably all our brands, but in multiple destinations across the Middle East. And that's not just the core countries we're in at the moment, but further afield as well. You look at where we are in Oman now. We have two Anantara properties and an Avani operating now in Oman. And then you look at other destinations across the Middle East. There's potential into Kuwait. There is potential into, if you look at places like Jordan and back into Turkey and then across into the North Africa region. There are opportunities across there as well.
That's amazing. I mean, how you've expanded. And I only became familiar with the brands back when I started covering all the Tivolis in Portugal. And then I learned about Anantara, and I learned how good a brand it was. I ended up going to the Maldives, the Kiwa. You have a few in Maldives now, but they just really have such a quality to them from the luxury side. And Tivoli, I know. I've never been to an Avani yet, so I have to try that one. And NH I've stayed at in Europe, but even before you acquired it. But it's an amazing story. And someday I'm going to have to interview your owner, Bill Heineke, because he's a sort of self-made guy who created this pretty much out of almost nothing. And so someday next time I get to Bangkok, I got to definitely look him up. But again, David, I want to thank you for taking the time to explain what's going on with Minor Hotels. Now, where can travel advisors go to learn more about Minor and also the brands?
Well, you can go to the individual brand websites such as anantara.com or to the Minor Hotels main platform, and there it'll send you to the individual properties or to the individual brands. And so please, and I ask your guests and your listeners, please go online and search us, because we have some of the most amazing products across the world now.
And right now, this region particularly that you're in charge of really seems to be a hotbed of growth, right?
I mean, the last 2 years, we've had some record-breaking figures really here. We've been blessed that we opened up very early post-COVID. It's such a strong hub as an airline destination hub as well. We've got some fantastic product here. And as you can see, we pretty much have sunshine 365 days of the year.
Absolutely. David, again, thank you so much. I've enjoyed my stay here, and I'm looking forward to the stay at the World Island.
Thank you very much indeed.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.